the India-Malaysia trade deal and of course the visit of the leader into Malaysia, the various fronts, markets that they will be developing on. However, I also mentioned China. They are having the third Turkey-China business conference, which was held in Istanbul. So, of course, it will also mark the 55th year of the diplomatic relations between these two giant nations. One is, of course, the biggest manufacturer in the world, and another is the crossroads of the world, where the Caucasus meets with the Asian side, is the bridges of the world as we know it, even as history. So, these trade deals usually come in their respective currencies. They do not have any kind of boundaries with the US dollar. So, the entirety of this issue being that people have stopped dealing with other nations based on the fact of the US dollar. They're dealing with their own local currencies, and that is a very big danger for the US. So, I want to know what is your observation? Asia seems to be reigniting old friendships.
Yeah, these are important on a few occasions. First of all, in the Middle East, Israel used to be the dominant power, but China, Turkey has successfully challenged it, and Turkey now manufactures most of its own armaments and export it to many countries, and they are even in talks for setting up some factories of armaments factories in Bangladesh. So, that is progressing in a way, but the thing is, Turkey is a very important power. Of course, they want to befriend more with China, because they know in case of any war which they think might be between Turkey and Israel, definitely US would be on the side of the Israelis. So, Turkey wants to cement its ties with China and Russia, because India is not on their side.
Of course, and they do not see eye to eye regarding the Pakistan-India war as well. We've seen how Turkey had taken off from India as well.
That's it. So, that is why they want to cement these ties with China and Russia. It is there, friendship is already there, and as we have seen in case of Iran, the Chinese and the threat came very straight, that if Iran is attacked, then China is going to be on their side. So, that has repelled the attack, and Donald Trump has favored, rather, since war cannot be done, bombing cannot be made to please Israel and himself. So, they are now going further sanctions on Iran. But well, be that as it may, Turkey and China has to, it's a natural friendship now, because for Turkey, NATO is as good as dead, because US was the topmost NATO country, and US is openly favoring Israel against a NATO member, Turkey, the most important member after USA. So, he has to find their own friendship with China.
We know Thailand has been going through almost the 3 leaders in 3 years. It's very sluggish growth, very important time to understand how that nation is going to fluster or prosper. So, back into the studio with Mr. Ali Ahmed. You've seen election news coming out from Japan, coming out from Thailand, and of course, this week is very important for common Bengalis as the news comes out. This is important. I'll capture this in the second part, but what do you think? International media is now starting to cover the fact of Bangladesh. Media is a very big, important tool in today's democracy, today's geopolitics. Would you agree?
Oh, yes. And Bangladesh, it's very important, because there has been a fall of the previous government through a popular revolt. And after that, for normally in these countries, third world countries, which Bangladesh still is, there is normally a military takeover. But there has been about nearly 2 years of rule, though it has not been very successful in many ways, but it is not a military takeover. So, the Western countries and other countries in general must take an interest in Bangladesh elections, because they say that after the rooting out of one government and being transplanted, being taken over, or rather handed over to a civilian mix of civilians, no military there, military was outside. And now an election is being held, is going to be held on 12th, no? Yes. So, That is very interesting. They want to see that it comes out successfully and a true elected democratic government takes over. The election is still uncertain. There is a great, now as it seems from outside, there is a great rivalry between the BNP and the Jamaat-e-Islam, the rightist fundamentalist party, and BNP is greatly edging towards a secular and democratic form of government. Democratic they had been, but the secularism is now openly said. No difference between among religions and all those things. So this is a modern political party, somewhat taking over the mantle, the spirit, not the spirit, the written mantle of the Awami League, which was very democratic and secular in declaration.
But
so
not in practicality and reality.
Reality has been different. So they are trying to sort, but then again, not making Awami League an enemy, because they have promised that when if they come to power, they will allow Awami League to operate as a political party.
Of
so
course.
These are all very good gestures. I think it would be good. And the caretaker government has earned disrespect of the people in many cases, but for the election still seems to be going well. Initially, the chief advisor was installed by these youngsters who
lack of finding anyone better, I believe.
And so now he has understood that it must be a political party, and the popularity contest, there was a survey by Prathomalo. It was 0.06 or 0.6% for these lead youngsters. So BNP and Jamaat-e-Islam is going to have the election, but ultimately it will in the middle term, in the how do I say, in the not long term, in a short term or middle term, it is going to be BNP versus Awami League. Whoever wins is a different thing, but then it is being a doctrinaire party, this Jamaat-e-Islam, they would always be there as a force. But now they are having much more importance and much more votes. That is also because of the sleepiness of the other political parties. It is their failure that Jamaat has capitalized on.